Arpeggios are one of the most common patterns that you will encounter as a piano player, but most piano players learn them the hard way or struggle to learn them at all. In today's tutorial, I'm going to teach you how to master all arpeggios in just 2 steps. These 2 steps are going to work for you if you are trying to recognize and play the arpeggios in your pieces, or if you're trying to come up with arpeggio patterns for your own arrangements. Hey piano people, I'm Ashlee, and if you stay until the end of today's video, I've got a free PDF that will help you practice arpeggios in the way that we do it on this channel, smarter, not harder. Let's dive in. Step 1 to master every arpeggio is to learn the fingering and the patterns. And the good news is they're connected. An arpeggio is a broken chord. So if we take a C major chord, instead of playing the notes of the chord together, you would play them one at a time. And arpeggios can go up or down. Now, arpeggios can be 1 octave, they can be 2 octaves, or they can go all the way up and all the way down the piano. And just like chords, arpeggios don't always have to start from root position. Meaning, if I'm doing a C major arpeggio, I don't have to start on C. I could start on E, I could start on G, and so on and so forth. Now we're going to split all of these arpeggios into 4 groups, based on the pattern of the keys and the fingering. This is going to make it very simple. So the first group is arpeggios that are all white keys. We have arpeggio C, F, and G. Now I want you to commit to memory that these are 3 chords that all use white keys. Now the other cool thing is that they follow the exact same fingering for all 3 of these arpeggios. In our right hand, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 1 would cross under. Now, if you just want to do a 1 octave arpeggio, then you would go 5 here. But if you want to go up and down, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and whenever you want to do the turnaround, you end on 5. And then backwards, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Now this works for C, this works for F, and it works for G. Now the left hand fingering is 5, 4, 2, 1. Now that's the official fingering that comes from the Alfred Basic Book of Scales, Chords, Arpeggios, and Cadences. Now 5, 4, 2, 1 is great. And if you're gonna use that fingering, it's 5, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1. And then on the way back down, it's the opposite. I like 5, 3, 2, 1. So just know that either is a good option, but the important thing is that you pick one and commit to it because you want to remain consistent with the fingering. Okay? Now, we just went over these 3 major arpeggios, C major, F major, and G major. Now, the cool thing is that if you want to change them into minor, diminished, or augmented, you can do that. And in today's video, that's what we're going to focus on. We're not going to go into 7th chord arpeggios. I will do another video on that because that's a whole topic in and of itself. But the fingering remains the same. So my C major chord, or C major arpeggio, is 1, 2, 3, 5. Let's just do 1 octave for now. Now, for C minor, all I'm going to do is take that middle note and go down a half step. And if you don't know how to make a major chord into a minor chord or an augmented chord or a diminished chord, I have an entire tutorial for that, and I'll link that in the description below. But stick around because I'm going to show you here in this video, but then you can watch that video to really deeply learn that concept on your own. So when I want to make the chord minor, the fingering stays the same, 1, 2, 3, 5. When I want to make the chord diminished, I lower that 5th of the chord a half step, still the same fingering. Now coming back to my major arpeggio, if I want to make it augmented, I raise the 5th a half step, same fingering. So it's great because this fingering that you're learning works for all 3 chords and the major, minor, augmented, and diminished versions of these chords. Now, don't worry, you're going to learn how to practice these, but let's go through the rest of these arpeggios first. The second group follows the pattern white key, black key, white key. And the chords in this group, or the arpeggios, I'm using the terms chords and arpeggios interchangeably because an arpeggio is just a broken chord. So these are all chords, but the way that we are playing them is as broken chords or as arpeggios. So the chords or arpeggios in this group is D major, E major, and A major. You can see it's a white key on the bottom, a black key in the middle, a white key on the top. D, E, and A. D, E, A. Now, the great thing is that the fingering for these chords is actually exactly the same as the fingering for group 1. So the right hand is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the same, excuse my wrong note, the same coming back down. Now, E major, same thing, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, and then same with A major. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Left hand, same fingering as group 1. So the book suggests 5, 4, 2, 1. Remember, I like 5, 3, 2, 1. So I'm gonna do 5, 3, 2, 1 because that fits under my hand a little bit nicer. You're welcome to do either, just stick with one, okay? 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. That's D major. Here's E major. 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And then A major. 5, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. Now, the fingering stays the same as you change them into minor, diminished, or augmented chords. Now, if you are still with me at this point in the video, this shows that you are really dedicated to learning how to practice smarter, not harder. And that means you should absolutely be subscribed to the channel. Hit the bell so that you know every time I release these helpful videos. Comment below, let me know what resonates about this video. Are you finding it helpful? Is this something you've learned about before? Is this brand new to you? Go ahead and copy the link and share this video with a friend so that they can also master all of the arpeggios. I am so happy and so grateful that you are here and a part of this community. Let's grow it. Group 3 of the arpeggios is words that follow a black key, a white key, and a black key. So we have D flat major, which is black key, white key, black key. This is also C sharp major. We have E flat major, black key, white key, black key. And then A flat major, black key, white key, black key. Now notice that these chords are actually the same as group 2, but with a reverse pattern. So group 2 was white, black, white, and group 3 is black, white, black. That can be a little helpful trick to help you remember which ones belong to which. So the fingering here starts to get a little bit trickier because when we are talking about starting on black keys on the piano, you want to try to avoid your thumb on a black key as much as possible. Obviously, there are some instances where it's not avoidable, especially when you're playing actual pieces of music. But when we're just practicing the arpeggios, we're going to avoid that thumb on the black key. So we're going to follow the same pattern for all 3 of these chords. And the right hand fingering is going to be 4, 1, 2, 4. Now, the 2 and the 4 on the starting note are kind of interchangeable. I like 4 because then it's consistent. 4, 1, 2, 4. And those are the only fingers that you're using. Some people find it easier to start on finger 2, 1, 2, 4. But then you just have to remember your second finger is on the starting note, but every other time you play that note, it's a 4. Okay? So I like 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Now these ones are a little bit trickier for your brain to remember because you're not starting on 1 and 5. And so when you go to the top, you have to remember what note you're stopping on so that you can do your turnaround correctly. Now this fingering is the same for all of the groups. So we just did D flat major or also C sharp major. Let's go down to E flat major. 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Same. And A flat major. 4, 1, 2, 4. Now, the same fingering happens when you change these into minor, augmented, diminished chords, okay? So with our, let's go with A flat major. If we want to change it to minor, we lower that middle note a half step, okay? Still 4, 1, 2, 4. If we want to do it diminished, it would be lowering this 5th of the chord down a half step. 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 4. Same with augmented, I would raise this 5th a half step, 4, 1, 2, 4, all the way up and all the way down. Now the left hand fingering is 2, 1, 4, 2. So with the first chord, D flat or C sharp major, 2, 1, 4, 2. Same thing, you're going to want to remember to where to do the turnaround. So 2, 1, 4, 2. It works for E flat major and also A flat major. Okay, the 4th group is random shapes. This is the group of leftover chords that don't really fit in with the other groups. And so you have to kind of memorize each of these ones individually. And I'm going to show you more on how to do that in just a moment, but let's just cover this last group. So this group is G flat or F sharp major, B flat major, and also B or C flat major. Okay, now these are just like the odd chords out, and you have to kind of remember that. G flat is all black keys, and the fingering for the right hand is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way up and down. The left hand is 5, 3, 2, 1. You might recognize this fingering as the same as group 1, but it doesn't fit in with group 1 because it's not all white keys. It's actually all black keys. B flat major is 1 black key and then 2 white keys, and the right hand fingering is 4, 1, 2, 4. Which you might recognize because we already did. The left hand is 3, 2, 1, 3. And then B major is the opposite. It's 1 white key and then 2 black keys. And the right hand is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, all the way up and down. And the left hand is 5, 3, 2, 1. So they're not that complicated in and of themselves. It's just that they don't really fit with the other groups. All right, are you ready for step 2 to master all of these arpeggios? Step 2 is to practice playing them in a way that gets them into the deeper layers of your memory. This will ensure that you can spot them very easily when they come up in any piece of music. But more than that, it will ensure that you can actually play them. I'm going to give you 3 ways to practice these to get them into the deeper layers of your memory. The first one is to practice them in groups. So for example, I would take just the arpeggios in group 1, the ones that are on the white keys, and I would practice those memorizing the notes of the arpeggios, memorizing the fingering of the arpeggios. Now it's gonna go a lot slower than what I'm playing. You might be playing, and saying the notes out loud. C, E, G, C, E, G, C, G, E, C, G, E, C. You might practice them in all of the different inversions. E, G, C, E, G, C, right? You might mix up the notes, and you're gonna really commit them to memory and recognize what they have in common. The notes, the pattern of the notes, and also the fingering. Which arpeggios use the same fingering? Which arpeggios do not use the same fingering? That's the first way. And if you need assistance with this, I have that free PDF that shows you these patterns all written out for you so that you can put it on your piano and remember. And if you want something else that's really helpful, you can also grab this Alfred's Basic Piano Library book of scales, chords, arpeggios, and cadences. This is gonna have all of the arpeggios, all of the fingerings, plus more in it. The second way that you can practice them is to do it with different articulations. This kind of confuses your brain because you're lifting off of each note, especially if you're doing staccato. And that means it's gonna make it sound a little different, it's gonna make it feel a little different, and it's gonna help you get those fingerings and patterns into the deeper layers of your memory even faster. Another way you can do it is to actually make these arpeggios sound musical. So do it with varying dynamics. Perhaps you start quiet and crescendo as you go up and then decrescendo as you come down, or something like that. You can make up your own dynamics, but just make them sound musical. Don't just practice these like a robot. That's not going to be very helpful. Commit them to your memory, practice them in a musical way, and that's how it's actually going to serve you in your pieces of music. By following these 2 steps, you will master every arpeggio. It might take you a little bit of time, but that's okay. You don't need to be in a rush. Work on mastering 1 per practice session, or even 1 per week, and before you know it, you are going to be able to master all of these arpeggios. Don't forget to download that free PDF that gives you all of the fingerings and patterns for these arpeggios that we covered in today's video. I'm going to put that in the description. And I'm also going to link a video that's going to help you understand how to practice your arpeggios to make them sound faster and smoother and better. Grab both right here on the end screen. Happy practicing.